Nate Palmer and Jordan Dwyer are making waves at spring camp, and that is good news because they are critically important to TCU football's offense this season.
You are Locked On Horned Frogs, your daily podcast on the TCU Horned Frogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That's right, Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. I'm your host, Steven Simcox. I've been covering TCU athletics for the past 12 years. We are brought to you today by 5 Hour Energy. Weekend is here. If you need a pick-me-up for that Friday afternoon, 2:30, you're at work, you're like, man, I got to find a way to get to 5 o'clock. Pick up a 5 Hour Energy. You can do it at your local convenience store, grocery store, or now you can order online at 5hourenergy.com. TCU baseball already has a series victory on Friday at 9 a.m. Actually, they had it wrapped up on Thursday by 10 p.m. Rarely do you see that, but they played a doubleheader yesterday because of impending inclement weather. So they won both of those games. They are supposed to play BYU again tonight to finish up that series, but we'll see what the weather ends up doing in Fort Worth. If not, they'll play Saturday. Jaden Pierre apparently close to committing to TCU. He's down to TCU in Georgia. There are reports that he has made his decision already. It's just a matter of finalizing it and publicly stating it. But we start today with spring football, which is a very popular topic right now. TCU is in the middle of it. I think they're on practice 6. And a name that keeps coming up in practice reports, whether it's Steven Johnson from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram or Jeremy Clark at Horned Frog Blitz, is Jordan Dwyer. Jordan Dwyer is a key piece to this offense. He played at Idaho for the last few seasons, and TCU landed him in the transfer portal. This past year, 1,192 yards on 78 receptions, around 15 yards a reception, 12 touchdowns, showed an ability to stretch the field at the FCS level. Now he's making a big jump, right? He's going from Idaho and playing in the Big Sky Conference to playing at TCU and in the Big 12. And so there's some skepticism about what is that transition going to look like, how he's going to fit in. But so far through practice, he's making plays. Steven Johnson noted in his notes yesterday that during the team session, Ken Seals hit him on a long touchdown pass. And there's been multiple reports like that just about every day in practice, whether it's 1-on-1, 7-on-7, or in the team drills, he's making plays. Now, the things I really like about Dwyer, he's got the size that you want to be a player at this level, 6 feet tall, around 200 pounds. He had a hugely successful career at Idaho. He stepped up in big moments. Some of his best games were in the FCS playoffs. And if you look at the schools that were pursuing him, he got to TCU, and they did a good job of just locking that down. But he was scheduled to visit Ole Miss. Ole Miss has used the portal maybe better than anyone over the past few years. You could argue that Texas Tech is doing it this offseason, but Lane Kiffin and that fan base, they've unofficially named him the Portal King. And it's hard to argue with that because they bring in top shelf talent each and every year. That's where they're directing a lot of their NIL money, is going after experienced, talented players in the transfer portal. They know what good receivers look like. When Elijah Jackson, the Washington corner, committed to TCU, I messaged back and forth with the Locked On Washington podcast host, because I wanted to get a feel for who this guy was, what the scouting report on him was. And unsolicited, he said, hey, what do you know about Jordan Dwyer and the offer package that TCU gave him? Because Washington felt like they had a very good offer package put together from an NIL perspective. That was someone they wanted at a position of need. So TCU either outbid them or had a similar offer and sold him on coming to play in Fort Worth, which either one is good news, but I think it shows the type of commitment they have to him financially. And Sonny said this before the season was over. He was asked during one of those bye weeks. I think it was right before the Arizona game. What are your priorities in the transfer portal? Because a lot of us, myself included, and I still think this for what it's worth, I think they need to do more when it comes to offensive line help in the portal. But that was my main question. It appears they're really trusting Ryan Hughes at left tackle and Ben Taylor-Whitfield on the other side. There's some competition there, but I think those two guys are going to win it. But he said, look, we gotta do some work at receiver because they lost so much. Jack Best, Savion Williams, J.P. Richardson probably all going to at least be in NFL camp. Best and Williams will get picked in the draft. Richardson, we'll see. Those guys are all really good players. Eric McAllister's coming back. He had a good season last year, and that's welcome news. I think Eric McAllister is going to be a very solid wide receiver. I think Joseph Manjack is going to be good at his job, which when the dust settles, I feel like will be mostly working in the slot. He will be the replacement and the security blanket in that role that J.P. Richardson left. And then there's a lot of guys that I would love for them to step up and be dudes. If Ed Small or Jordan Bailey or Braylon James or Kyle Baker or Duzi Azukama, if any of those dudes step up, Terry Shelton, there's a number of guys at wide receiver. There's players at tight end, Kamorian Pimpton, DJ Rogers, Lafayette Caraway. If any of those players become big-time receiving threats, that's awesome for TCU. That's going to help him. It'll help them. It's going to make them a better football team. It's going to make Josh Hoover's life easier. But the guy that they have to get production from is Jordan Dwyer. And the challenge for this receiving group is that they are replacing an elite unit. It's not just that TCU is losing some good players. They're losing the majority of their production on offense because they couldn't run the ball very well. And Josh factors into that. I understand it. But this group needs to be really good for this offense to hum and play at the level that we come to expect from Sonny Dykes and Kendall Briles in this offense. So I think McAllister is going to be a really good player. I feel like Manjack's going to be a solid player. The game breaker on the other side, though, and a guy who could make a big difference when we talk about where this team could go, is Jordan Dwyer. If he is able to make plays in the vertical passing game, that's great news for this team. And I think as the year went on, they lost that a little bit last season, but I mean, Jack was a dude who could go up and win a one-on-one ball. Savion could too. They just didn't use him as much in that role as maybe you would think. And I believe part of that was just because his role transitioned so much during the year. But that's at the receiver spot. Another name that keeps popping up is Nate Palmer. And Nate had a pretty quiet freshman year. He didn't really play at all until the bowl game. And he did some nice things in the bowl game, ended up with 33 yards. But I've been cautiously optimistic just because I appreciated the way that he ran in that ball game. I liked his mentality. I liked his toughness. But at the end of the day, it was 33 yards on 11 carries. And there's a lot of fans that are like, well, running back is going to be manned by him. And I'm like, well, I hope. I mean, I would love for that to be the case. I think Jeremy Payne's going to have something to say about that. But that's a big jump from barely touching the football last year to suddenly being the lead back. But he's having a good spring camp so far, and he told Steven Johnson, the assembled media there yesterday, that he's put on about 10 pounds of muscle. He's nearing 200, which is good news. I think TCU has missed since Kendre Miller left some of those bigger body types. Now, Amani Bailey was fine. I mean, he was a workhorse of a running back. He wasn't splitting carries for the most part. It was all him, and he did it well. I'm not sure that Nate Palmer can make the jump to be an immediate starter. I think Jeremy Payne's going to be the guy. But you're going to need more than one running back for this season to be a success. So whether that's Nate, whether it's Kavorian Barnes, taking that short yardage role and maybe becoming a little more than that, or John Denman, the true freshman, stepping up and making plays. With the amount of snaps that TCU wants to play, and the pace is slowed down some, but still, you're going to need some different ball carriers. Palmer also said he feels like he's a very complete back. We didn't really see him catch the ball in the backfield at all or have many opportunities to block. But that's another part of this, right? And that's going to be a huge determining factor in who ends up getting this job. Who can do all of those things? Who do you feel comfortable with in a 3-down scenario? You don't have to pull them out on 3rd and 9 because you know a blitz is coming and you're not sure that guy can step over and light somebody up and at least give Josh enough time to move around and make a play. Or it's 3rd and 4 and you need somebody in there with better hands who can run a angle route or a wheel route or something like that, or something out in the flat and catch and make somebody miss. If he can do all those things, that's really beneficial for TCU because it gives them more versatility in their rotations. And while I hope there's more clarity once the season starts, at least at the beginning of the year, I believe this is going to be more of a running back by committee approach. So you need multiple guys who can play and who can do their job well. When we come back, it appears TCU basketball is nearing another running mate for Brock Harding, who is their lone transfer portal commitment right now. We'll talk about Jaden Pierre next here on Locked On Horned Frogs. It's your team. We do it here every day. Anxiety has ratcheted up a little bit in my life since I've had kids. And in some ways that's not great, but in some ways it's good because it helps me be prepared. And Fabric helps you be prepared if you have a family. Life moves fast, especially with a family. It's just happening all the time. With Fabric, you can apply for term life insurance online right from your couch. You'll be covered in under 10 minutes. And in many cases, no health exam is required. It gives you that peace of mind. They have affordable coverage, and they also go beyond life insurance. They have free digital wills and access to investment accounts as well. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to protect their families. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. That's meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Give it a try today. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. That's Fabric, meetfabric.com/lockedoncollege. Again, you can apply within 10 minutes and possibly get covered today. Also want to tell you about our friends at PrizePicks. Baseball season is in full swing. There's no better way to get in on the action than with PrizePicks. You simply pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. You can build your lineup every day. Whether you think Aaron Judge is going to hit more than 1 home run or Shohei Ohtani will go for more than 1 stolen base, it's that easy. It's fast and simple. Setting up a lineup takes less than 60 seconds, and your payout is quick, safe, and secure. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use LOCKEDONCollege. PrizePicks. Give it a try today. So a lot of transition with TCU basketball. Ernest Uday is in the portal. Isaiah Manning, Frankie Collins, Vashawn Alette. They brought in Brock Harding, a point guard from Iowa who averaged about 8 points and 7 assists per game last season. Shot the ball pretty well, which is something that TCU desperately needs. They have to find a way to spread the floor this year. David Punch coming back next season, which is very good news. David showed a lot of promise as a big man who can be a rim runner, who can be athletic. If he can add another scoring dimension to his game next season, he's going to be a really dangerous player. And they've been pursuing other players in the portal. One guy that they've been in contact with, Jaden Pierre, he is down to TCU in Georgia, and some reports coming out yesterday that TCU is the favorite for Pierre. 12 points, 2 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. Shot 40% from the field. I talked about Jaden yesterday. To me, he is a volume scorer. And you watch his highlights, he can score from all 3 levels. He can shoot the 3. I mean, his shot looks good. He can get to the rim. He's effective getting to a spot, hitting mid-range jumpers. All that's positive. My concern, looking at the numbers, watching the game log, you can watch a 3-minute highlight tape and create in your mind whatever positive scenario you want about who that person is. But if you get more into the weeds with it, the shooting was just not consistent. I mean, he had games where he shot 50 or 60% from 3, was 5 of 10 against Indiana in an early season tournament game. And that was from beyond the arc. He was 8 of 16 from the field, but then turns around against DePaul, 1 of 6 from 3, 4 of 10 from the field. I mean, 2 of 9 against Creighton, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 9 from 3, and 1 of 11 from 3 against Villanova. Came back and had a pretty good shooting night against Georgetown, but was 0 of 5 from beyond the arc. Struggled in his final game of the season against Butler. He can score. He's also probably going to put up a lot of shots. And TCU is going to need somebody who can fill it up, right? At the moment, I mean, we'll see if Caden Edwards becomes this type of player or Ashton Simmons. I don't have a great feel for like who your lead dog is going to be at the guard position. Harding is more of your prototypical point guard. He's a distributor. He's there to get you initiated in your offense, make good decisions, set up his teammates. So I think he'll be setting up Pierre to go score. Can he do it on a consistent basis? Because the Frogs' biggest problem last year was they would just go through these long scoring droughts. And yeah, that bled into their defense and their defensive effort. But they didn't have a guy. I mean, Aulette tried to be this dude. I think Noah Reynolds really was this player early in the season. I don't know what happened, but there was a brief window where they had some good vibes rolling. And then it was like after that Tech win, they go to Cincinnati, they get blown out, and Noah just kind of disappeared on us. This is going to be your guy. I mean, for now, like unless one of these young players step up, when we're talking about who's the dude with 10 seconds on the shot clock that you get the ball to him and you get out of the way. Well, if he commits at the moment, it'd be Jaden Pierre. I really like what even Micah Robinson and Jace Posey bring to the table. Those guys will have this offseason to sort of hone in on their game and become better scorers. With Jace, I really see him as, I mean, he's a key piece to what they're doing, but I don't know if he'll ever be like a dude who's going to put up 20 on a given night. It's more play good defense, rebound the basketball. If he can become an effective catch and shoot player, then that would be great. That'd be a huge plus. Robinson, I think, has the build and the ability to turn into that type of guy, but I'm not sure he's going to make that jump in one season. So if Jaden can be more efficient and more consistent, then I love this pickup. But if he shoots in, similar percentages to what he did at Providence, then I feel like you're going to need more help around him. And in some of the, big time Big East matchups, he struggled to score. But I will say, Aulette sort of turned into this guy last season, but he came over from Old Dominion. Yeah, I think it was Old Dominion, I believe. This is a player coming from a true Power 5 conference. Played high level college basketball last season. So the jump in physicality, they went after a lot of smaller school guys last year who were making a leap. This is a dude who played, big time college basketball. So that transition is not going to be a huge deal. It's just a factor of can he quickly get acclimated and be the type of efficient scorer TCU is going to need this upcoming season. When we come back, TCU baseball already got a series win. They sweep the doubleheader yesterday against BYU. We'll talk about that next here on Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. 5 Hour Energy. I told you about them at the beginning of the show. Visit 5hourenergy.com and stock up and save. You can build your own 12-pack, your own 24-pack, whether you're headed out for a round of golf, if you were up late, watching games last night, were you up late watching TCU baseball, and you had some work to do and you ended up getting in bed later than you wanted to, grab a 5 Hour Energy. You can do it at your local convenience store, local grocery store, or now online at 5hourenergy.com. Keep up with all the madness with 5 Hour Energy. Tropical Burst is one of my favorite flavors. It's the drink you know and you love, and it's more convenient than ever. You can get it delivered straight to your door. 5hourenergy.com or at your local store. Give it a try today.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Great reports on viewership and just people tuning into the Bracket Breakdown show on Amazon Fire TV. So congrats to Isaac Shade, Andy Patton, and the team there for putting together a great program. TCU baseball already 2-0 on the weekend. They sweep a doubleheader over BYU on Thursday night. They're supposed to play tonight, weather permitting, at 6 p.m. Cademan Parker on the mound, which is good news. Braden Sloan's still available. He hasn't pitched at all this weekend. A lot happened in 18 innings last night, but let's get to it. Frogs win 11-6 in game one. And then I think the final of last night's game was 8-0. I know it was a shutout. Tommy Lepore went 7 innings through 114 pitches, had a no-hitter going through 7 innings. Kirk Sarloos said after the game, he was originally going to pull Tommy after 6 innings. He was at 100 pitches, but Tommy was all over him to at least go back out there for the 7th, but wasn't going to push him any more than that. Shin comes in, gives up an infield hit. They were really close to a no-hitter. I mean, that infield hit that BYU had to lead off the top of the 7th was the only hit they had all game. A couple errors, a few walks. But other than that, a really clean game. And just all around, pitched well. Cole Klecker started game one, and he hung in there and ate some innings. They got down 2-0. Former Frog Ryder Robertson hit a 2-run home run in the top of the second. But then TCU came right back and scored 7 runs in the second inning. And the story of the day, Sawyer Stroh-Snyder, coming back from injury, continues to just absolutely rake. I saw this morning. This is from Diamond Addicts on Twitter. Freshman Sawyer Stroh-Snyder has 13 hits, 6 home runs, and 17 RBIs in his last 7 games for TCU. He had a triple in game one. He had a home run. He went opposite field for a home run in game 2. I've never seen a more complete true freshman than this dude at the plate. And Noah Franco, by the way, is also great. He went 5 for 5 in game 1, had a couple hits in game 2, is mashing the ball as well. But Stroh-Snyder is just on a different level, and it looks so easy. The first home run he hit yesterday, I believe, measured out 449 feet. And it was a good pitch to hit. It was in a left-hander's wheelhouse. Coming inside, but it was middle in, and he just turned on it. But the swing looks so easy. His opposite field home run, it looked like he was just kind of slapping at it and just drove it the other way out of the ballpark. He had that home run against Texas Tech in the 11th inning a few weekends ago where he went down on one knee and basically just golfed it out of the ballpark. I mean, he has easy power. He can run. He's not afraid to shorten that swing up a little bit and just spray it into the outfield for a base hit. This is a special dude. And don't look now, but this team is playing really well. Now, part of it's the schedule. BYU is not a very good baseball team. Hopefully they can finish off the sweep tonight. And then they'll get Kansas, who is playing good baseball right now. But BYU, Houston, and Tech are all struggling. That being said, if they win today, they'll go 7-2 over those 9 games, and 2 of those series were on the road. Can't really ask for much better than that. We'll have more coverage of this on Monday as well as everything else. It's Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. Subscribe to the YouTube channel or your favorite podcast platform.